from Bucharest, Romania. I'm Dave. You guys don't see me on the channel, but you know I'm there, hiding in the background, and several of you have met me, who've come out to do the workshops, and you know the benefits of coming out and doing the workshops and all the information that I give you that I do not put on the channel. So for those of you not coming out to workshops, you don't get the information that some of these other guys get. So with me today is Alexei, and
you got it wrong again.
I got it wrong again.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alexei.
Yeah. You can spell it like an E. Alexei. Yeah.
Done. So Alexei.
Yeah.
Alexei has just finished the Bucharest Experience workshop. So that's our 2.5-day workshop here in Bucharest. Did you have fun?
I did. A lot of fun.
Good. Excellent. And Alexei did very, very well in the workshop. And he has a really fascinating story that I feel many of you may be struggling with as well. Possibly not. Alexei found the channel that you guys are now watching, and he was at a place in his life where he basically had agoraphobia and was afraid to leave the house. He wouldn't even go shopping. He was in a new city just terrified. And through using this channel, which you guys are now watching, and the principles that we talk about on this channel, he was able to get out of his house over time, go shopping, buy clothes, like do things that we all take for granted, or at least most of us take for granted. He was crippled by this fear. So using the principles on the channel, he was able to come from being stuck at home to a Bucharest experience. And I just helped him approach 2 amazing women here in Bucharest.
That's right.
And he did a fabulous job. It was incredible. And we just say 2 because he's approached on a couple hundred this past weekend, probably.
Of course. Yeah.
So, but the last 2 he did an amazing job. It was really, really great. So props to him. But I wanted you to share your story from your perspective and what you went through from finding the channel all the way to the point where you're like, I'm going to go do this workshop. So tell the viewers, you know, what your life was like before, kind of what was the middle ground, the catalyst that you led us to, or led you to us, and
Sure.
actually coming to the workshop to do it.
Basically, I'll start by saying that I hit like 27 years in April, and I didn't know what I was doing with my life. Didn't have a girlfriend for years. I've moved to Bucharest and was living here for almost 1.5 years. And you can imagine, like, not having any friends, not having anyone to go out with, the loneliness increases. And it got to the point when I was afraid to just go to the mall and shop for clothes. I was afraid to call somebody on the phone, like do sign up for a medical check, any stuff like that, like which involved any human interaction was difficult.
So just a real crippling social fear.
Yes.
And it's all fear-based.
Yes, anxiety was dominating every minute of my life, basically. And,
so you were just living riddled with anxiety.
Right. And I was, at that point, I was already watching videos related to pickup stuff and how men are supposed to act around women, but I just didn't believe any of that. Like, it was shallow for me. The advice was just how a man should act in general, but I felt that something deeper needed to change. And then I got lucky and I stumbled on Brian's channel, the Fearless Man channel. And what made me believe in him was that he shared his story, like
which is a very similar story.
It's a very similar story, and he shared his story how he was basically socially anxious up to his late 30s, if I'm correct. I'm not sure, but I believe that's right. And he then showed also a photo of him, which on one hand made him very vulnerable, in front of his viewers. But on the other hand, it made this so much more believable. And at that instant, everything changed for me. I started believing, and I was hooked. Like at that point, I realized that everything is possible. If Brian managed to get out of that state, man, I was inspired. And from that point on, I was watching like in reverse all of the videos, trying to apply the stuff that he was teaching, his recommendations, and
so what? Give these guys a couple examples, because you're not the only person that's actually taken the channel, put the teachings into use, and ended up in a workshop with us, or done some amazing stuff on their own. So what are the a couple things that you use that Brian recommended to do to get you where you are right now?
Well, it's the basic stuff, like the highs, the approaching. Mostly, in the past, I was even afraid to approach and ask for directions.
Okay.
And after the videos, now it's like easy like that. I was doing that. I also didn't avoid interactions with people anymore, which I was doing in the past. I was actively pursuing them. I also was working on the releasing and letting go.
Okay. So you were doing the tension skills. Did you do the tension journal?
I didn't do that.
Okay.
No.
But you were gradually stepping up your tension skills.
Yeah.
And then you were doing some of the releasing work, allowing work.
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
And I started doing interactions with women, which I usually try to avoid on purpose. Now I was actively seeking those interactions, and it felt really great. Like I hit a point when I was already kind of enjoying it, and it was amazing.
Awesome. And so far we've gone from you being stuck in your house, to watching the channel, to applying a couple of these principles. Got you out of the house, talking to people, asking directions, eventually saying hi to women, right?
Right.
So what was the catalyst that brought you to us this weekend? Like what happened? You're like, hey, I need to go do this workshop.
I wanted to go from the beginning. Like at first I heard that you were doing these. I thought you were doing them only in LA, but then I was so upset to learn that you did one in Bucharest in May, and I found the channel in June, and you couldn't imagine like how upset I was about that. But then at some point you posted again in the schedule that you were doing another one in Bucharest, and I was super happy. Like this was one of the best days of my life.
You're a great manifester.
Yeah. Yes. So as soon as I learned that this was a recurring thing, I decided to sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've told you guys before, anytime you get into a workshop, and Alexei knows this now, that once you complete it, if we have a spot available, you can take the workshop again for a nominal fee. If it's completely full, you can come in and assist again as much as you want for free. So, Alexei is going to be able to have that experience for himself if he wants to come back and redo this workshop. So that's a perk of doing this workshop. So yeah, you did an amazing job this weekend. You had fun working with the models. The models enjoyed you, and they came up to me in private and said that you did a phenomenal job, and they really enjoyed working with you. So
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, they really thought it was awesome to work with you. And so take us through, just quickly through your experience of the Fearless experience here in Bucharest this weekend.
So basically, to break it down, there's you have multiple sessions of different kind of exercises and talks. So it starts with the talks. Brian gives a talk about deep stuff like letting go, like tension, grounding, Other guys also come in and tell about their experiences. Dave talks about his experiences being natural in this kind of stuff, how a man is supposed to behave, and it's really valuable from all the points of view, from the guys who grew with the workshops, and from Dave, from the point of view of growing over time as a man, from being a kid to gradually becoming an adult. You get a lot of time with the models. The models give you great feedback. The coaches adjust the way you act in front of the girls, and it's an experience that you will never be able to get anywhere else. Besides that, you also do a lot of infield exercises that it's probably you won't be able to do on your own, most likely, unless you are very good at holding yourself accountable. Yeah. Which is it's a great help. Like sometimes you need to be pushed to do an exercise that you're not willing to do on your own, and that's where the other guys come in. The guys who took the workshops before, they're a great help as well. They've gone through this. They share their own experiences, and they started just like me. They were unable to come up to women to even ask for directions or ask them the time, and now they're just amazing at approaching women and at getting dates, getting laid. It's all possible.
Yeah. And you got to see some of our advanced students that were here hanging out, helping in your workshop.
Yeah.
When we went out the other night just for fun, you got to see them in action and do what they do. And so, exactly. You know, you got to see live result of where they came from to where they are now. So that was good for you guys, for sure. And,
yes.
And today we, what did we do today? I'm trying to remember.
More of the same. Like we did a lot of model work, and it's.
I wanted to say, what did you think of the video feedback?
Oh, the video feedback! It's a great tool. It's being able to see yourself and analyze your mistakes, and Brian talking about stuff which you wouldn't even see on your own. He points out the subtleties, the way you interact, your connection to the woman, if you're relaxed or not. Basically, the subtleties, these are key. Yeah.
Yeah, the subtleties that a lot of people miss that make all the difference in the world from the perspective of how it's done naturally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't, you know, as you know, now after taking the workshop, it's not about games and techniques and manipulation and all that. It's 100% authenticity in who you are, and if we don't see you being authentic, right, we tell you.
Yeah.
Down to the tiniest little detail.
And not only you, like the girls will tell you for sure, like they feel it instantly.
Yeah, it's amazing, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I'm glad you came out, and I look forward to working with you some more. And I know you had a lot of fun and gained a lot of perspectives. So we'll see you in the future.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
I'm hoping to see you soon again here.
Yeah, we will definitely be back. Also, I just wanted to point out, Alexei started out as a guy watching this channel from his home, much like you are now, to sitting here being the guy on the channel. So let that stew in your brain for a little bit. If somebody that can go from agoraphobic to getting himself into a workshop, to going through the workshop and doing a phenomenal job, what can you do? And most of you probably aren't even in a bad of a space as he was when he started. You're probably a lot better off, more than you think. And if any of you have agoraphobia or have these extreme social anxieties or fears like Alexei did, you know, look at what he was able to do just by watching this channel and get himself to a place where we were able to help him in person. So, yep, the guy from watching the channel to the guy being on the channel. That's a huge leap forward. And thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you in the next workshop.
So long, guys.